109, y'all. I am your host, AJ Brown. If you never heard of me before, I talk politics, music, sports, um, relationships, a little bit of everything. Um, Today, y'all, it's gonna be a little different, man. I'm not gonna do too much talking. I'm gonna play a few documentaries that I've been. One I haven't seen, one I've seen most of. I haven't seen the whole one. It's gonna be that shit gonna be long as fuck. So I might not even be able to play all of it. But with everything that's going on in politics, man, I want y'all to really get an understand of why I lost my in touch with voting and all this bullshit that be going on, right? Um, as you know, they doing they got all the stuff with the Save Act bill that's supposed to be going through that went through the House but still has to be voted through the Senate with the voting ID, all this bullshit, yo. And if you don't know by now, man, and who's running this world, I'm gonna give you an insight or intake on the documentaries that me and a few like my bro CJ really put me on a while back, right? And I felt like now is the time that I show y'all, just like if you haven't watched it and just people who haven't probably even don't even know about it, but I just want you to get a little insight on it. You know what I mean? Just see why my mind is where it's at and why I think the way I think. It might not change your opinion on nothing. I know a lot of people feel like, since the ancestors fought to vote, fought for our rights to vote, that they're gonna vote for them. Uh, and I say this, right? Our ancestors fought for a lot of shit, and a lot of shit y'all pass by and still don't do. So I guess we pick and choose, like we pick and choose certain shit out of the Bible that we want to listen to, which is cool. Do what you got to do, right? Everybody ain't gonna like how I say shit. Everybody ain't gonna like how I do things and like my opinions, right? But before I get started, right, I had a little debate a while back. And I had this debate with CJ and I had this debate with somebody else about racism, who's racist and prejudice. We go through this all the time, right? And I just seen this video of Dick Gregory, Ice T on a panel, and they was having this debate of racism and prejudice. And I know when I get finished with this, I'm gonna send this clip to my brother CJ because I know he gonna love this shit. But I'm gonna play this. This it's only a 20-minute documentary. Then I'm gonna get into the one I really want to watch, which is "Everything is a Rich Man Trick," y'all. And I really want people to really understand this, bro. Like everything is really a rich man trick, and it's a game of fear, man. Like all this shit is about fear, and it's a lot of bullshit, yo. I'm not talking sports today. I might talk sports tomorrow, or I might talk relationships tomorrow, since tomorrow's Valentine's Day, and I seen a lot of 304s in the Walmart today. Yeah, bro, I seen a lot of y'all, boy. A lot of y'all look good too. I ain't gonna lie, but I know what comes with that bullshit, and I don't want no parts of it, man. Shout out to the niggas who fucking with the 304s and all y'all, and shout out to the people who in relationships and all that. Shout out to the side chicks that ain't have nobody this weekend. Shout out to everybody, bro. But I'm gonna get started on this first. Like I said, this Dick Gregory and Ice T sit down. I don't know who they was all sitting down with. I haven't watched this one. I have not watched, but I know it's gonna be good. That I know for sure. Y'all bear with me.
Tonight on Politically Incorrect, NBA great John Sally, rapper Ice-T, comedian Dick Gregory, and author Star Parker. And now, the star of Politically Incorrect, Bill Maher!
Well, I know why you're excited. Big news in science. You must have heard this, right? The cloning thing? Isn't that big and exciting and scary all at the same time? If you didn't hear, scientists in Scotland have, for the first time, cloned an entire big thing. A sheep. No, they did. They cloned a sheep. Now, of course, the sheep they cloned is younger than the original sheep, but it's otherwise the exact same thing, kind of like the Judds. It's just to put it in layman's terms, No, they took the DNA from the original sheep. They put it in an egg, put it in the microwave. No, they put it. No, they took the DNA, put it in another sheep, and then another sheep. It's amazing. It's amazing to me that they can do that, but they can't figure out DNA enough to convict OJ. What? Kidding. Are they laughing back there? Well, the other news is Deng Xiaoping, of course, you heard, died last week. Or did he? That's what the authorities are saying now. They're saying they think he died a lot earlier, and they just released it now. They think he's been dead for a while. One reason is because the last picture they have of him, he's got mutton chop sideburns and his arm around Gabe Kaplan. So, old, I'm saying. Now, bad news from Atlanta again. I guess you heard Friday there was another terrible bombing. Richard Jewell was at the Wiener Schnitzel with his mom. So it's not Richard Jewell. But no, they bombed a gay and lesbian bar. But I think the feds are really on top of this because by the time the local cops got to the scene, Attorney General Janet Reno was already there for several hours. So apparently the feds are on top of it. So... And, of course, show business news. Again, this Star Wars thing, what a juggernaut. The Empire Strikes Back. Did you go see it? Again, the second installment, biggest thing over the weekend. And again, they kind of changed, updated a little bit. And this one, Darth Vader tells Luke that he's his father. And he also says Madeleine Albright is his sister, and they're all Jews. So anyway, thanks for coming. It's all been satirized for your protection. Welcome to the show, and let us meet our fabulous panel. First, Rush Limbaugh called her the brightest light of the black conservative movement. Her new book is Pimps, Whores, and Welfare Brats, soon to be a James Bond movie. Star Parker, where is she? There you are, young lady. How are you, beautiful? Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
All right, he is a legendary comedian. He certainly is a political activist, nutritionist, and anti-drug crusader, Dick Gregory. How are you, man? Thank you for coming. Well, this man is the father of gangster rap. He's also an actor and activist with a new CD, Violent Demise, an upcoming movie, Rhyme and Reason, which opens in March. Ice-T! And this guy spent 10 seasons in the NBA and won 3 championships. This summer, he'll have his own TV show, The John Sally Show, on another network. John Sally. Thank you, Johnny. Good to see you. Okay. Well, thank you, panel, for coming. And those at home, don't adjust your sets. No, this is Black History Month, and more importantly, it sweeps. And more importantly still, this is a show I wanted to do for quite a while, because it will take the form, I think, of a tutorial, because I want you to tell me the handshakes. That's what I'm interested in. That's what this whole thing is about. No. I basically, what I want to hear is, what are white people still not getting? Because let me read this quote. Arthur Ashe said, "It is far more difficult to be black every day in America than it was living with AIDS." That's a powerful statement.
Yes.
And yes, sir.
You talk about what are white folks not get. We came up and said black power, and white folk got scared. We've been looking at this big white arm on Arm& Hammer with a hammer. And it never bothered us. I mean, at all. We never got worried about it, and then we just put up a little puny hand, black power.
But one was baking soda.
Yes. We don't have bombs, and we keep white folks get so scared of us and say, well, maybe maybe they're not smart enough to create a nuclear bomb. Maybe they were so dumb they was cooking biscuits and ended up with an explosion.
There are instances of subtle racism between all the races. Now, I'm not one that believes that...
Even within the race?
Even within the race. There are many, many racism, and most of it derives out of this group think, that if you don't think the same way that everyone else of color thinks, as if we all should be monolithic in our approaches to American life, then you've sold out. And so there are problems with our races, but we'll never get to solutions if we...
Now, what the fuck does that sound like to y'all? That sound like the shit we still going through today between the Democrats and the Republicans of black people who feel like if you choose one side or the fucking other, you are sold out. Damn, that's crazy. And this shit was in 1997, and I was only 7. I'm 35 now. That's crazy.
Keep balkanizing ourselves.
One thing, first, let's set one record straight that seems to bottle our way. It is impossible for a black person to be a racist. You see, I can dislike you.
That's not even true. Go ahead, finish your statement.
Am I talking?
It's not true.
Am I talking or not?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
But this is politically incorrect, and so we can jump in. We don't have to just sit back.
You're talking, but you're not God, man. Okay, I mean,
Oh, thought I was.
Go ahead.
First, this whole game they play. I was born and raised on welfare before you was born. 80% of every welfare mother in America, black and white, have never produced a child on welfare. They just keep showing that 20%. That's a game they play. Welfare, corporate America. 90% of the people that fly first class wouldn't be up front if they couldn't write that off on the income tax. And the airlines give off $200 million worth of free whiskey to first class. Those are welfare pimps, baby. Okay? All right. And, okay. All right. Come on now. And if you really worried about welfare, I say send all the welfare mothers to Canada, mail their checks over there, call it foreign aid. That don't bother us.
Well,
it don't bother us.
So far, I asked the question.
I got lost where the biscuit turned into.
We'll take a break. We'll come back and we will re-rack this question and we will get some answers.
Politically Incorrect with Bill Maher, brought to you by Midas Auto Systems Experts.
If you're planning to be in the Los Angeles area and would like free tickets to Politically Incorrect, call 213-852-2655.
Okay, let me try to reframe this because I think we got lost there, and I'm really trying to accomplish something here. And what it is this. I think, you know, in the last generation, 30 years ago, people knew there was a problem. And I think white people think there isn't anymore because there's been a lot of surface changes. I mean, people don't overtly that much insult black people anymore. They work side by side. There aren't separate drinking fountains and lunch counters, and there's laws against discrimination. And I think most, maybe not most, but a lot of white people think the problem is over. Thank God we solved it and we can move on. And I want you to tell them what it is like. I said to Laura Ingraham once here, I said, you would have such a different feeling if you went through life one day with a black face. Am I wrong about that?
One thing you got to understand is you just got to be aware of angry individuals, whether they be black, Chinese, whatever. Because there's a lot of black people I'm afraid of. You dig what I'm saying? It's like white people too, you know what I'm saying? So once you dealing with an angry individual, he's somebody to be, you know, dealt with like that. I think a lot of white people feel that black people have a reason to be angry at them. So they have that guilt built in them that says he might just reach over and bust me in my head for something that maybe I didn't do, but I know he might think I did it. So that's where you got that insecurity right there. But then, you know.
Well, but some black people are scary.
I'm scared. Like I said, I'm scared of a lot of brothers too. You know what I'm saying?
Most of this has been manufactured. You know, white folks should listen to black folks a little careful, because when we talk about black on black crime, that really has an effect on white. See, we're not saying we shouldn't do crime. We're just saying we shouldn't do it to each other. So, so who's left?
No, but that as a group, we're not saying that.
It's like you said. You said, I love Dick. You said.
But wait, you know,
wait. You said.
In China, who you think killing Chinese in China?
No, is he talking?
Go, Dick.
Who you think
Is he talking?
Who you think killing Italians in Italy? You kill where you live.
Yeah, true.
I'm sitting there going, where's the new book? I think the problem is, like you said it's a law for discrimination. There shouldn't be a law for discrimination. It just shouldn't be discrimination. And then there's a law for this. There's a law to you gotta let a certain amount of brothers in. You gotta let a certain amount of Spanish in. That's a problem in this country, that you have to have a law to say that. You shouldn't have to have a law. It should just be the way it is.
Well,
And I think, it's true.
yeah, well,
It's true.
shut up. You're making me ill with that.
No, and many-
bogus, stupid applause. Of course, you shouldn't have a law.
But
this
many
is
Americans are
planet
ready to
Earth,
move.
okay? It's
Yeah.
better that we have the law.
Well-
It's better than that.
But-
But you know, then check this out.
But the problem with the law is that it makes people think the problem is over because they all are acting correctly, politically correctly.
But there's different kind of discrimination now also. Like he said, you worried about some black people. You just got to worry about people. There's different kind of prejudices now in 1997. Sometimes how you put it, politely how they say things, politely how they do things. That's not cool. It's prejudice in your race. When the British call you white Americans or American way, American, I mean, there's prejudice among all of us, but it's a different way of doing it now. It's not so much NIGGER, that is this, I'm going to kill you, coon.
Basically, white people got the money right now. And though whoever has the money is in power and is running stuff. And the man with the power has the money. Now, if we had the money,
You got a lot of money.
No, we ain't got the money.
Not as, but
I
see,
mean, that's
Yeah,
a
you
lie. That's a lie because what it is that's
no.
another trick game. Because like you'll say, well, Oprah's rich, but she don't own the network. Michael Jordan is rich, but he don't own the team. Nobody black really owns nothing. When you get to the blue blood of America, ain't nobody black, ain't nobody even up there. Everybody got a tan, but ain't nobody black.
But see, this is where we have to then judge. This is where we have to look at what has transpired over the last 30 years. And this is where I make a judgment against our welfare state and or this great society, because we have to ask ourselves, why don't we own? And one of the reasons
But you
is
can't
because
tell me and
wait a
tell
minute.
me Eddie Murphy is rich, so black people got money.
No, and I'm not saying that, but
You
what
can
I
count
am saying,
brothers with money.
what I am
Ain't
saying,
nobody.
it's limited government that allows for the free market system to thrive. And we began to look back at what has happened after the civil rights journey in this country to get rid of race-based laws. We started on this trail toward forced integration, and it has undermined the economic spirit that used to be in our neighborhoods. Why is it we can point to a time in our history we had over 300 banks in the black community? Today we have less than 30, and they're
We have
struggling
300 banks
to
with no
survive.
money in them.
No, but that's
They
not
have no money in them.
No.
They have no
Number
money
one,
in them.
but that's not
We
true,
ain't
and you
never
know it.
owned no. We ain't
But
never had nothing.
We have
Then you
more
don't know your
economic,
history.
we have
You don't know
more
your
We ain't never
economic
had
power today than we had 30 years ago.
But look where that power comes from. 65% of black people today work for some form of government.
Then
That's a tragedy.
But we're
in a
talking
free
about,
market
we talking
capitalistic
about power.
system.
And the reason
You know what I noticed still to this day? We are still is black men and black women don't see eye to eye when it comes to history. And I don't know what part of history we fucking went left at, but it's still like this today, bro. Like, we don't see eye to eye. And I look at this shit and I be like, damn, that's like me being up there with a Jasmine Crockett, bro. We will not see eye to eye at all, bro. That's how this shit will really be, because the way she look at history, I don't look at history, bro. Like, and that's crazy. We don't own a lot of shit, and a lot of shit that we do own, we end up giving it back to the white people. It's like we really never own nothing at all, bro. Like, we don't own our own music, we don't own these record labels, and the motherfuckers at the top, like that get there, that get to these top, man, they don't give a fuck about us. They be working with the man.
that I cannot be a racist. I can hate him because he's white. I can hate him because he's Jewish. I can hate you because you're Racism is the ability to control somebody's faith and destiny. Because I hate him, I can't determine he can't get a mortgage. I can't determine that he's going to live in a bad neighborhood. That's what racism is.
Well, then if that's a true statement, then the racism isn't in America anymore, because you can live wherever you want to and you can be successful, because the American dream is alive for all of us.
You see,
It's not
you're
necessarily
really naive
predicated
enough to
on...
beliwe that.
Well, I believe it because I've worked it. No, and I don't
Hey,
think
wait
that
a
it's
second,
limited.
wait a second.
No,
I
think
didn't
it's
even know
limited. There are too
John
many-
was Jewish. This is a whole different show. We have to take a break. We'll come right back. Want to start? Mr. T.
I think the most dangerous thing for black people to feel is that you can really get a lot of money out here and be rich and be like above racism, because the bottom line is, like I said, you got basketball players, they can make, like Shaq can make $120 million, but who gave him the money? You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody black.
Because you're
cut
talking
him
about a
that
sense
deal.
of ownership.
I'm
That's
saying
very
straight up.
different from saying that it's racism
Is there,
that
name
keeps
a
you
rich
from.
black person.
No, but what does rich have
Name
to
one.
do? What does rich have
That's
to do
where the
with the
power
discussion?
is. That's where the power is.
Well,
Without no money, you
wait a
can't do
minute.
nothing. And
But
if you
see,
get
that's
you
where we
rich,
disagree.
they can take you out.
Okay, then that fundamentally is where we disagree. And I think that
Oh,
when
you
you
think you
talk
got
about
power with
individuals,
no money?
there are a lot of people. For instance, my grandmother has power and she has no money. She's very poor, but she has
Spiritual,
wait
right?
a minute. No, not only spiritual, she owns her own house, she grows her own food. She has a power that many of us don't know about it.
OJ didn't have no money. He'd be in jail right now, baby.
Well, perhaps he
You
would
gotta
be,
have
and
money.
many think that he should.
Wait.
But I don't know that money is a monitor for success.
But in a
That's
way,
all there
in a
is,
way, he's
money.
right.
Well,
because
that's
you
where I
got to admit,
disagree.
if these people on stage, let's be true, if we didn't have some dough or had some
We wouldn't
dough,
even be on TV
we
right
wouldn't
now.
be here. And
Well,
what they do
That's
is
true of white people.
That's
too.
when
Yeah,
it's sometimes
I mean,
no.
like that, I don't know that that's
But,
related to
but see,
racism.
when black people get certain kind of money, I mean, it's like we're all put on a pedestal. We in LA, we all go to George's and hang out on Friday night
And
see
we all
who's the
broke.
big Willie.
Really?
Right. We really don't have no cake though. If I sit back, wait.
But you
You know what the beers are?
This is what I say. You can look at Shaq
But
like he
this-
said.
They got
You can look
chips,
at Shaq.
baby.
You look at
Chips.
Shaq. They got 130.
Stay quiet. Stop. Let him talk.
Billion.
Ice. You can look at all
Hey,
these brothers.
chill, Ice.
Is anybody black?
What is that? How do you get that? Okay, but here's the point you're
Is there
missing.
anybody black that's a billionaire?
None. Not here.
Wait,
No,
because he died. I mean, Reggie Lewis. But listen.
No, he wasn't. No,
Oh, come
no.
on. He was
Reggie
the biggest
Lewis. I never
buyout.
heard of him.
You know why you haven't heard of him? Because he was a
Please, yeah,
conservative. He was a Republican, and the people that control black think
What's
that we
conservative?
should
Don't that
know
mean
about
white?
him. No, it doesn't mean white.
Yeah,
he
was
made
not-
the biggest buyout in the history of America,
he was not-
regardless of his color.
he was
And
not
yet
a-
we don't know about him as
he
a
was
people
not
like, because folks
a
labeled him a
billionaire.
sellout.
I got his
Not
number.
a
Well, he
billionaire.
ran a multi-billion-dollar.
Boy, this would be a good show if I had black
money
people
away.
every night, wouldn't it? I tell you.
I know, get around our kitchen table.
Let me ask you that. You said the thing about
Don't play
what
dominoes
Spike Lee
with
says
us,
that you
you.
can't be a racist if you're black. Now, white people, let me tell you this. I hope this isn't news to you. Always tell jokes about black people, even the ones who think they're liberal. I could tell you ones I've heard. They're very insulting.
Don't do it.
No,
No, he's not going to.
I'm not going to do it. But let me ask, do you think that's true?
I know it's true. I
How
can,
could-
listen,
But
prejudice.
if you hate,
Prejudice, it's two different things. If I dislike you because you white, that's prejudice. All right?
right, because
All right.
you're prejudging
That's
who
right.
I am.
That's all that is.
But if
Racism is the ability to control your faith and destiny, and we don't have that power. That's what he's sitting here talking about now.
And why do we got that power, Dick? We ain't got no money.
But you know,
Okay?
but you know,
How do you get
I have
the
to
money?
say, Mr. Ice-T,
See, that's
How
the
do you get the
problem.
money?
How do you
I
get
have-
the money? You bill. You don't become a
Rob the Federal Reserve
No,
Bank.
that is not how. And you don't become a president of a major corporation by some quota program. You
But wait a
start like
second,
everybody else
wait a
through the
second.
free market system and work your way to the top.
isn't this not a good message you are sending to children that money is the be-all and end-all of everything?
I didn't
it
say
true?
that. No, it's not the end all be all, but
It's
you
true.
have to be listened to be respected. You have to have, because you don't have to. You're right.
Yeah,
You
that's
can
not
build it, but it comes to a point where it's like, all right, you're talking all this garbage. As they would say, what you have. Well, they would say what you got.
Okay, okay, let me stop you right there, right? You can build all you want, right? And I'm having that problem being independent now. of just trying to build my brand, just keep that shit afloat, my nigga. So you can have a brand, you can have your own business, but what's 100% of nothing? You got 100% of a brand, but it ain't making no dough. That's why a lot of people literally have investments, and partnerships, and they end up selling their shit, or they end up like, that's why I did the little video with Joe Budden of him doing independent shit and being independent and keep going. And then you're going to have another one, like you got a Charlemagne who getting a $200 million deal. Think of the difference. You stand down independent, or you partnership with people and they giving you the money, but you still under their window. You still got to do what they do, man. You still got to do what they tell you, bro. And that shit, to me, See that it's hard. It's tricky. It's a tricky game, man.
In the
But, you know,
early
I've
days
been
of
studying.
yeah,
They were studying, you know, but I've been studying on my diction. What you got? You know, you talking all this stuff. That's like a guy in a polyester suit telling me how many millions he can make, and say, well, why don't you invest in a real suit? That's exactly. You know, if you got to have it in order to speak.
I'm gonna tell you straight up. You got a lot of problems in the streets and stuff. I come right out of the streets. My mind was totally negative. I used to be broke, homeless. I already know where that negative mentality comes from. That's from not having nothing and not feeling you have a chance to have it. So therefore, I'm gonna act out against you because I think you got it. But once I was able to lift myself up by working, my whole attitude changed.
Right.
I don't want to rob you no more.
So you got me nervous.
I have to take a break. We will.
Many of his NAACP court victories were landmarks in the civil rights struggle. More in a moment. The Honorable Thurgood Marshall was a heralded lawyer and civil rights leader. As chief counsel for the NAACP, he won the historic Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka, Kansas case. This unanimous 1954 decision laid the groundwork for school desegregation. In 1967, Marshall was appointed a justice of the Supreme Court by President Johnson, becoming the first African American ever to sit on the High Court.
All right, join us. We're going to have Little Richard, John Nesbitt, Sandra Singh Low, and Michael Gross. Okay, we only have about a minute. I have so many questions I didn't get to, but let me ask you this one. Now, one of the vilest crimes in history, of course, was taking black people from their native culture, putting them on slave ships, and bringing them to America. But honestly, in your heart of hearts, given what a mess Africa is and the life America affords you, aren't you glad they made the trip?
well, could you say putting Jews in slavery because of mess what Hitler was?
I'm just saying, aren't you glad 300 years ago someone made the trip?
No, you can't say that.
Then you read, then you should see.
Anyone is why we have racial problems.
You
There
should,
are
yeah,
cultural
that's because you don't know what's
Because
going
you know
on.
what?
Maybe you don't know what's going on in Africa.
Bill,
No,
America
that's
would
not
be a
true.
mess if we didn't come over 300 years ago.
Maybe.
You know
No,
what? Let me answer that.
yes.
Let me answer that. I think
You know,
what America
Africa
has.
is a
Wait,
mess
let me
because
answer that,
of
please.
colonialism,
No,
not because of
let's not get into the mess of Africa. Let's look at what America is all about in the
Hey, why
American
don't we
dream.
do this? Why don't we get
Nature,
some
the
money?
laws of nature, the nature's God offers opportunity for all of us.
All right, y'all. So that's that. That was a pretty good debate for me. Like I fuck with that shit real hard, man. So look, I'm gonna get into this documentary. Everything is a rich man trick. If you haven't seen it before, I'm gonna play a good hour of it. I'll stop at certain points, but I'm gonna just play the documentary. Like I said, to me, bro, today just a documentary day for me, man. Cause there's so much going on in the world, and just the everybody got their own inputs on how they feel and everything. Everybody not gonna believe certain things, but if you do your own research and actually do your own research, not just go on Google, read some books, you'll figure out, bro, like this shit ain't no game, bro. And the real playmakers and the real people are running this world is fucking in this documentary or talked about in this documentary. So